Hello, today I want to talk to you about Google Ads budgets. Now, if someone approaches us and they want us to manage Google Ads campaigns, build campaigns for them, one of the things they always end up speaking about is budgets. How much are you willing to commit to every month in terms of not only ad spend, agency spend, etc., to get good results? And one thing that can happen is people don't want to invest enough money. Now, I want to go through this video. It's a video explaining quite a lot, and I want to show the implications of the scale of budgets. Because there's a couple of things it's going to impact. It's going to impact the speed to results, it's going to impact the speed of testing, and it's going to impact your confidence and how long it takes you to get that results. So, to give you an idea and give you a high level view of how ad budgets work in Google, kind of the same on Facebook, but I'll talk specifically about Google here. So if you have, let's just say you start with $900 a month, which personally I would say is too low, right? But I'll explain why. If you divide it by 30.4, you get roughly $30 a day. 30.4 average days in a month, so you end up with a daily budget of 30 a day. Now, if you want $30 a day, if you follow Google's ads wizard, it's probably going to create you one campaign, and it's probably going to be a performance max campaign, which is a bit spray to play, and now a spray and pray, I should say. And it's probably not going to work as well because you're not building that campaign very well. You're not tracking conversions, all that kind of stuff. So we never run campaigns unless we are tracking everything that we possibly can, because we want to be able to prove conversion data and sales, not just vanity metrics like clicks and cost per click. But just to talk through this scenario, if you have $30 ad budget per day, usually if you build it well and you've got a good partner that's building it, or you're building it in house, you want to be able to build multiple campaigns. Now, an example might be a search campaign, and that's what most people think of as Google search. So you see search and you see ads. You might want a display campaign, which is your banner ads. You might want a remarketing campaign, which is a different type of display, different targeting. So let's just say you have this. All of a sudden, you probably spend most of your money on search. It's going to be more expensive. So just for the sake of going through this, let's just say you have $20 a day, $5 a day, and then $5 a day here. So I haven't been very consistent there. If you have a click that's $2 a day, just for argument's sake, you might find it's lower, you might find it's higher. If it's too low, it often means it's bad targeting, right? But let's just say it's $2 a click. That's 10 clicks per day. Now, if you, sorry, let's make 10 clicks a day. If you have 10 clicks a day, and let's just say you've got a good conversion rate of 5%. A lot of websites can linger between 2 and 3. Some are less, some are higher. But let's just say you got 5%. To get 5 sales, you need how many clicks? 100 clicks. How long is it going to take you to get 100 clicks? 10 days. Let's just say, you have to learn to build this campaign, get the messaging right. It's probably going to take you longer than 10 days to get those 10 clicks, if this is what it worked out to be. Now, as well as this, you might also want to split up your search campaigns, because you might have a couple of different products, and you want to be able to control your budgets a little bit better. So the biggest impact on this $30 a day or your $900 a month is it limits the number of campaigns that you want to be able to do, or you be able to do. Sorry, I didn't mean to flick that there, so I'm just going to catch up here and zoom in. Let's give me a second here. Oops. Okay, so, well, sorry about that. So if you have $900 a day, you got $30 a day on here. Sorry, I'm just going to click on here, whiteboard. You got $30 a day. Now, you probably want to be able to try other campaign types like Performance Max. You might want to be able to run a YouTube campaign. So if you've got $30 a day, what do you do with your budget? you'll end up taking a little bit off of this and a little bit off of this. So all of a sudden you've got $17, you got $3, you got $3, and then you've still only got like a few dollars here, say $2 and $3. It's not going to be enough to run these campaigns successfully because your data is not going to be good. So it limits the creativity of how many campaigns to run. And we've got clients that we run 9 to 10 to more than campaigns. Sometimes we'll split up search into Australia and New Zealand or the States and Canada or whatever it might be. So this ends up being divided again. So then all of a sudden you want to split this into $5 a day here and $6 a day here. It's just not going to work, right? So you're limiting the creativity of the campaigns that you can do because you've got a small budget. It's also going to take you a lot longer to get the results. And the other thing that's going to impact is what you can actually have inside this search campaign. So let me just clear this up for a second. It's going to be a bit messy because I haven't used this whiteboard for a while. But if you give me a second and we'll clean this up as much as we can. Cool, that'll do. So let's just say you have your search campaign. And let's just say you have a scenic flight company as an example. If you wanted to, if you had scenic flights to, now I might get my geography wrong here, but let's just say we're in Glasgow, Scotland, and you had your Glasgow scenic flights keywords. So a lot of people are searching for Glasgow scenic flights. They want to go along Clyde, out to the west coast, back into Glasgow. Maybe a river landing if it's a seaplane. I have taken off from a seaplane there before. No, I haven't actually. It was on the west coast. But so Glasgow scenic flights. Let's just say you did flights to the Hebrides because they're not too far away from Glasgow. You get out to, or you could go over Arran or something like that. Or you could go out to some of the further afield Hebrides. Be a longer, bigger ticket item, but you might have Hebrides. Or you might have a flight along the West Highland Way or something. I'm making these up. As a business owner, you might want to advertise all of these. Now, if you've only got $20 a day, you're going to end up with lots of different variations of these keywords. Let's just say you end up with 40 keywords in there. And Glasgow Scenic Flights is the most popular one. Glasgow Scenic Flights is going to end up using all your budget because it's more popular. And by the way, just if you have $20 a day and you've got 10 clicks a day, once those 10 clicks go, Google will stop serving your ad because your ad budget has run out for the day. So let's just say Glasgow Scenic Flights are the most popular. So I'm just going to put a little love heart here. That's what everyone is searching for. So you can't really see that on the screen, but that's the most popular one here. Let's just say there are many, many people looking at that every single day or week or month. You don't really want to look at these every single day and make changes daily. But let's just say, again, let's just talk averages. Let's just say you get 1,000 clicks for this, depending on your budget, and you get 50 clicks here, and you get 40 clicks here, and then you got some other keywords as well. You've got no conversions on these keywords. Let's just say that's because you've only got 40 clicks. Now, to uninitiated, you might say, well, this keyword's not working. We'll just pause that. So you end up hitting the pause button here. Don't know if that looks like a pause button. It doesn't actually, probably it's like that. But anyway, let's just say pause that there because you think it's not working. The reality is this is taking up all your budget because you get a measly $20 a day budget. And this is taking up all the budget because it's the most popular keyword. This is getting the most sales. This is turning into dollars. Or pounds it would be, and you decide that this one's not working because you're not getting conversions. The reason it's not getting conversions because your conversion rate is 5%. Optimistic could be realistic. 5%, how many conversions are you going to get here? You're going to get an average of 2.5. So ideally what you'd want to do if all of these were equally popular, you'd split these out into multiple search campaigns if you're going to allow your agency to do the right thing and they are a good agency. So then this $20 a day becomes 776 roughly 776. And then all of a sudden you've got lots of campaigns with very low budgets. There's only going to get 2.5 clicks a day if the average is $2 a click. So this is why you don't want to be advertising on Google with a really low budget. And you've got to remember as well that Google Ads is one of the most effective ways to get sales because it is the most intent-driven platform compared to the likes of Facebook, where you're targeting on demographics and interests. And Facebook's got tons of data, don't get me wrong, they could be bang on in targeting as well. But generally, Google Ads is a more intent-based advertising platform. So you've got to give it some leeway, and this is why a low budget, it doesn't really work as well as having a budget to be able to test. We like to think of budgets as being targeted test budgets because it's only when you have the flexibility to be able to test and build things properly that you can grow confidence, you can scale your campaigns, and it makes it a lot easier for you to justify your marketing budget. But the other thing is, because of this creativity that they have as an agency, it wouldn't be uncommon for us to have an ad budget less than the agency management fees if the budgets are a bit lower. But the other way that we usually work is we don't usually charge a percentage of ad spend because we want to be able to speak to clients properly to be able to say, I think you could spend more on this, and you're not worried it's because we're going to get 20% of that increased ad spend. So the reason that we charge the way we do as well is because it's the complexity of the campaigns that makes it harder to manage rather than the actual budget. So the more campaigns you've got to manage, the more creatives you've got to think about, the more you've got to investigate things, and the more better results you're going to get. Now, a classic is we were dealing with a client that had this kind of setup on a very different product to this, and we always wanted to split out a couple of the different offerings into different campaigns. There wasn't enough budget to be able to do that because you'd end up in this scenario here. And when they doubled their budget one month because things were going well, that's when we decided we'd split it up and we'll get the metrics. And lo and behold, we actually got much better results because we had the flexibility to test without being worried about throttling our budgets. So that's why the importance of your Google ad spend is a really good thing to be able to think about. So thanks very much, and that's Google Ads budgets in a nutshell.